Here we're going to be looking over this Asahi Pentax KX 35mm film SLR camera equipped with the 55mm f1.8 lens. And the KX is a little bit higher end model than the K1000 that is much more well known because it was made for so much longer. But back in the 70s, when this series came out, the KX was actually a much higher end model featuring a self-timer, a stop-down preview, a little shutter lock, and a little bit nicer match system inside the viewfinder. What I thought I'd do here is just step down through the shutter speeds and demonstrate what works about this camera, and I'm also going to show some things that are the reason why I'm declaring it for parts or not working. Most of it actually works, but I do want you to be aware of a few things, and the purpose of this video is to show this almost as if you have it in your hands and you're seeing this for yourself. So here we go at 1/1000th of a second, 1/500th, 1/250th, 1/125th, 1/60th, 1/30th, 1/15th, 1/8th, 1/4th, 1/2, and 1 full second. Sounds pretty good. And then here's on the bulb setting where the lens stays stopped down as long as I hold the button and the shutter's open, and then the cycle completes. And then we can see the stop-down preview works just fine. And we're going to demonstrate the shutter here. We'll try that out. It's a mechanical, or the self-timer, mechanical self-timer. So here we go. Oh, I didn't have it advanced, so we'll do that again. Okay, so there we saw it work. Now I'm going to, well, let's try this little shutter lock here. And see, if you have it in your bag and you don't want it to accidentally go off, you flip this over there and you flip it back when you're ready to actually use the camera. So that works. I'm going to go into some of the things here that I've noticed that are reasons why I'm declaring this for parts or not working. There's an aperture follower ring right here that hooks onto here to communicate with between the lens and the camera what the aperture is set at. And this feels pretty stiff, and sometimes it kind of squeals as it goes back, and it can be real slow returning sometimes, and sometimes really quick. So I don't know, it might just be that it hasn't been used much for a long time, but that is one thing. Another is that, well, let's look at the lens first. The focus, nice and smooth. The aperture ring has nice clicks, and at the low end here we can see they're quick blades. You really can't ask for it better than that. But what I did find was that when I have it wide open and I take an LED flashlight and shine in, I see some haze down in there and a lot of dust, but at least one level that kind of lights up. So be aware of that. You wouldn't notice it so much just looking through, but that LED light kind of makes one of those layers light up. So that's another reason. Lens does mount back on the camera properly. And then also the light seals in the back look like they could use some renewal. Pull up on the rewind crank, open this up, and it's got a nice rewind crank, by the way, all metal. Let's first look at the film transport and the shutter. Looks pretty good. Let's set it on a slow, full 1 second shutter speed. So that looks good. Over here on the door, I'm feeling some dried residue along this edge and the bottom edge, indicating that there's some printing off of material from these light seals. So at some point this camera should have a CLA to have that fixed, and also that slow aperture follower. The door closes, got a nice rewind crank, and then I should point out it's got a nice clean battery case. Sometimes these are kind of corroded and messed up, but this one works very nicely. And maybe I should keep using that nickel to open that up. Okay, battery compartment's nice and clean, looks really good. I did put some batteries in there, and I verified that the needle match works and that the meter is responsive to light. I did not check for how accurate it was, but it was responsive to light. The camera comes with this kind of wide strap and looks like it's serviceable, it's adjustable. I've never been a real fan of these types of clips. They tend to nick up the camera, but you can use whatever kind of strap you want, but this comes with it. And I don't have a front lens cover. There will be some protection over that so that it's not vulnerable to damage in shipment.